Hello everyone, Cloud the Great here, back for another Jacknife review. This will be the third one in my series. This is the Dangerfield Skeleton Key. It comes in two different packages, which is going to make this both a mid-tier and a high or expensive jackknife. You can get it in the normal variation, which is $49.99 US, or you can get it in the extended version for $87.95. Alright, so I would like to talk about the carryability of the skeleton key, and there's one glaring thing that might get in the way of that. If you've ever carried something like this, you know that you don't really want something thick in your pocket, especially one that just juts out, possibly digging into your leg or giving itself away very badly in your pocket. I like to rate my jackknives on a scale of 1 to 10 on the EDC scale. I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. It does include a hole for a key ring. It's very similar to my last two budget jackknives. However, these are uniform in shape, and this one's quite thin. They don't get in the way nearly as bad with this big old knurled knob. It's not terrible, but I do have to rate it worse than these. So now we've come to, what do we get for our $50? Well, when you get the base package, it just comes like this, and you get 8 profiles and 1 tension tool. No, I'm pretty sure it comes with just the 1 tension tool. And it does not come standard with these profiles. My goodness, my stool about exploded. I've mixed and matched from the extended set. With the extended set, you get 38 picks in total, and you'll get 4 tension tools in total. They're all pry bars, single-ended, and they're, for the most part, a few of them are different thicknesses, but they're all pretty similar. So what I've got on it right now is quint, double peak. I like the quint for padlocks. Worm, I like for rocking, along with good old city rake. A long reach, it's just my preference. A little snake-ish double peak. A zipper, if you will. And of course, I had to put a short hook / medium hook. It's a little in between, and a slightly concerning half diamond. And over on the extended set, We've got the Prince and Princess profiles from Dangerfield, a snake, a little triple peak, an offset diamond, short hook, a couple of knife tools, your quad peak with either aggressive peaks or soft rounded peaks, another quad, a big deep hook, an assortment of hooks. Man, that's a crazy one. Look at that. Alright. So, in my opinion, there's a glaring issue with this jackknife. Definitely not a deal breaker by any means, but it is something that I want to address before we go any further with this review. And it has to do with retention. If you keep the tension tool in, select a pick and tighten it down, the lockup on it is great. Really no movement, no play. Fantastic for picking. However, if you need to use the tension tool that you have in the jackknife, you take it out, you're using the tension tool, but then you want a pick, we'll do the same one, and you go to tighten it down, you really have to crank on it, and even then, you just can't tighten it enough to get a good lockup. Like I said, not a deal breaker because they do stop. These picks have a notch that stops on this backside, so while you're picking, you can use that to leverage up, but you need to be aware that the lockup is not nearly as good when you take this tension tool out, and it can sometimes be a bit of a pain to get that back in. You kind of have to line them all up and put them together. So the question of how good is the retention is kind of complicated. I'm going to give this a 5 on the retention scale. I can't do any better than that with the issue that it has. That being said, if you keep that tension tool in there, it's great. And it's hard to say. Part of what makes this so hard is that the build quality is fantastic. It's made out of aluminum. Everything has screws that you can take apart. It comes with spare screws, spare O-rings, another knurled knob. The picks are made out of 301 stainless steel. The website states that they're and 23 thousandths or 6 millimeters. Look at that one. It's a little bent. That might have been my fault. And it feels really nice. As far as build quality goes, it does warrant the $50 price. But I'm conflicted. Let's pick some locks. Alright, let's start out with this little master puck lock. Let's try this little zip. I'm just scrubbing the pins, and we are open. Alright, up next we have a little quick set deadbolt. We are going to be using the worm. With the worm, you kind of want to scrub and rock. Scrub and rock. Alright everybody, I wanted to pick a third lock for you guys, but I was having terrible luck with it, and there's a big storm brewing, a possible tornado headed our way, so let's wrap this up. This is a either $50 or $87, well, $90 basically, jackknife. It's going to get a 6 out of 10 on the EDC scale. It's got either 8 or 38 profiles. It's got either 1 or 4 tension bars. The retention is going to get a 5, as previously explained. The build quality is really good. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, including the construction of the picks, the profiles. It's made out of a good steel. 23 thousandths is really nice. I mean, you're not going to get into super crazy stuff, but you don't want to be using this to pick that kind of stuff anyways. You can, but I wouldn't. The feel while picking is alright. Even with the tension bar in there, it moves around a little bit and can be a little uncomfortable. Just something to get used to, something to be aware of. Overall, I like it. I love the platform. I love that you can put so many profiles in there, and it has a removable tension bar, but there are better options at this price point. I have not reviewed those options yet, so I can't elaborate on that at the moment, but stay tuned for future jackknife reviews. This is Cloud the Great signing off. Thank you, and have a good day.